Hey, Mr. Diaz, my lefty brother. Thank you for taking the time. Hopefully, you can watch this next day or two. I figured it's easy to just voice this over for a couple minutes, then type out a whole bunch of long stuff. So, anyway, this is my swing from last night. I haven't recorded myself and watched it in literally months. Just busy, been sick last couple weeks, and I'm pretty disappointed because had been at least working pretty hard with mobility, and I went to see Matt at Golf Liberty in October, and we worked on a bunch of stuff, and I felt like I was in a good place. I was really struggling hitting these kind of heely-cutty things, and last time I played golf, actually on New Year's Day, is exclusively drawing the ball now, path in to out, blah, blah, blah. But, I think I told you there's like three-ish, maybe I guess a fourth thing that I'm really struggling with. And it's basically been the same no matter how hard I'm trying. And I compared my swing, I'll show you in a sec, to like a bunch of different pros. And there's a couple things that feel like, even though their swings all look really different, they're all doing that I'm not doing. And at this point, I think I just need to like almost start over, stop hitting golf balls on a simulator, try a couple different things. So anyway, I'm controlling this, just going slow. First thing here is, and I'll show a clip to like Minwoo Lee in a minute, but basically at arm parallel, I've got like almost zero wrist set, something I've always done. I think this maybe goes back to like years and years of hockey. Just like have that more wider sort of feeling. And I've always sort of used to still struggle, I guess, with a little bit of arm collapsing. Oh, there's Jakin. So anyway, yeah, really, really late wrist set, which happens almost at the top, which gets me across the line and kind of foldy and crappy looking. And one thing I'll show as well is my, I guess, yeah, left wrist. If you drew like a line from my palm just perpendicular to my palm, would basically be facing almost horizontal. Like there's very, very little supination at the top, and I think that's almost exclusively why my club head's pointing across the line. It's probably most of the reason. Another reason too, the arm folds a little bit, but that's just a mobility thing. I kind of have to work on to gain depth. My arm kind of bends a little bit, and then from there, yep, it's just a little bit steep. I'd like to see it maybe middle of my bicep on the way down, and at least now my back foot doesn't come way off the ground. I used to have crazy amounts of extension in the hips where my foot would be like 3 or 4 inches off the ground at this point. I'm just not athletic enough or mobile enough to be able to manage that. You can see right about the top-ish, my hip is kind of covering the edge of my net, and then right at 5 here, I don't know, it's hard because my butt isn't right on the net, but I would guess I've at least moved toward the ball 3 inches, 2.5 inches. Ideally, probably want to be less than 1. But yet, I kind of have a toe strikey miss, so it's a little weird. So anyway, that's where we were last night, and I didn't even bother after I saw this hitting drivers because this is just kind of crap. So anyway, let me show you Min here. I don't know why I picked him. I just like him, like his swing, and it doesn't really matter. All the pros I've looked at seem to have most of the same themes present. So anyway, by arm parallel here, and this was me, I want to say in the early fall, or I don't know, 3 months, 4 months ago. My swing was actually probably better at this point. I don't know what the hell happened. So I had more wrists set at that point. I've lost it. But anyway, Min and almost like everyone I see seems to have, with an iron at least, by their arm parallel, most of the way, 90% plus of their wrist set is already there. Where mine and the swing I just sent yesterday, that I did yesterday, was like, I don't know, 20%. So that's a huge issue. And they're just, most pros seem to be much more vertical, where I'm a little bit laid off, which probably causes a bit of the steepening in transition. So keep taking him to the top, and all right, before he starts to transition, you can see, same theme, my rear palm, if you drew a line out of it, is basically facing left, horizontal line. Whereas Min, in almost every pro I see, it's, except for a couple outliers, maybe not quite parallel to their spine angle, maybe 5-10 degrees more pronated than the angle of their spine, but pretty close. Some people like Max Homa, who I have a video of, maybe a little bit more supination, but just they are so much more supinated, and I need to figure out if that's something I need to feel in my left wrist, feel like I'm just very supinated at the top, or if I need to feel my lead arm is more pronated. I'm not sure, but there's just way too much pronation, whatever you want to call it, in that rear armrest there. And then really from there, I'd have to supinate a ton. This is much better than the swing yesterday. Yeah, by about arm parallel. I'm still a little too steep, but it's better than it was yesterday. And you can see, yeah, my foot used to come up a little bit, which is probably fine. Right now it seems to be more on the ground, but Min here, I mean, at arm parallel, his club is like off the screen. It's completely behind him, whereas mine is in the screen. Excuse me. And I don't know, probably 5 degrees steeper by this point. I mean, it's no surprise this dude is one of the fastest guys out there. I mean, that's just an insane amount of lag. Not that I'm trying to chase lag, but he just has cuckoo amounts of lag. So maybe that'll be a byproduct of fixing the swing. And then, yeah, at impact, he obviously is just a little bit of a Gumby, and I'm not. He's got a ton of side bend. I'm not that worried about it. And yeah, I mean, my follow through kind of sucks, but I think fixing the other stuff will improve that. And then just for the heck of it, looking at Max here, I mean, yeah, same thing. He's got pronation, or I guess supination. That's, if you drew a line out, probably only a couple degrees more pronated than whatever his spine angle is. And yeah, I mean, he's in the same situation. Silly lag. And then into impact. Another thing I noticed too that I just forgot to mention was, like, I can't draw on my screen here, but like if you looked at where his seam of his shirt would be, like on his, obviously I flipped his image on the left-hand side, you would obviously be able to see that clearly. And he has still probably 90 degrees or more of rotation. And then when I look at myself from yesterday, I mean, I'm over-rotated, I'm pretty sure. My guess is that's because I'm compensating for a lack of mobility in my spine. So that's another thing I really have to work on, is my upper body thoracic mobility. I think I'm compensating for lack of spinal mobility by basically using hip rotation to carry my upper body with me. So that's probably something I have to work on. I may even in the short term have to just accept a less back turn, more or less. Maybe I don't quite get to 90 for a little while. It's something I have to work on in the gym. I've always been kind of tight, just genetically, physically. I'm just a very tight person. Could be a little bit of a neuromuscular issue as well, stemming from my brain. So anyway, yeah, you can't see my seam at all, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but like I have way more total rotation relative to what Max had there, and I bet if we go back to our pal Min, I'd be willing to bet that he could see his seam. I mean, he's got even less. You know, he's even less rotated in his lower trunk area, but yet still easily probably has 100+ degrees of rotation. Obviously, I'm almost 40, and I bet our pal Min, I don't even know his age. I'm guessing he's in his 20s still. Homa's probably, I think he's early 30s. So no excuse, but they're pro athletes who get to do this all day, and I sit in a chair for 40+ hours a week. So I got to really grind to really even make progress. So anyway, those are the 3-4 things I saw. I know we talked about my driver speed issues, but I think before I even concern myself with why is my driver speed, ball speed dropping, I got to address a bunch of stuff here. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks, man. That was 12 minutes. That was way longer than I thought. If you've watched this whole thing, you're a legend. See ya.